Yeah guys, just out testing the Sony FDR X3000 against the Action 2. Side-by-side footage. I'm shooting in wide, 60 frames on both cameras. I'm pretty sure the field of view is much wider on the Action 2. But how is the image quality? I'm shooting in vivid color profile on the X3000 and normal color profile on the Action 2. Optical stabilization versus electronic stabilization. Let's see how the colors are. Let's see how the camera exposes against the sky. In many of my tests, the X3000 seems to blow out the highlights a little bit. It's an old camera, it's 5 years older, almost 6 years older than the Action 2. And of course, the Action 2 should be much better. And you have optical stabilization on Sony FDR and electronic stabilization on the Action 2. Always fun to test these cameras side by side. But the prices aren't that different actually, and that's a little bit strange because you have to pay around $300 for the Sony FDR and about $400 I think for the Action 2. We're at the parking lot. That's my car, a Golf. I like that car. It's a great little thing to drive. And then we can do the vlogging test. How does my face expose on the cameras? I noticed many times that the Action 2 does a really good job with skin colors. And how is the sky behind me, the highlights, and how is the stabilization, and how is the audio. The audio is quite important. Let me do a little bit of running. I'm pretty sure that the Action 2 is much better. It should be, but you never know. And wide field of view, it shouldn't be distorted on the Action 2 because I'm shooting in steady mode. And that's what I really like about the Action 2. You have different camera settings or wide lens settings you can choose from. On the Sony FDR you can choose in narrow, medium or wide. I think wide looks best on the Sony FDR. Medium looks pretty good too, but narrow is too close to my face. Usually I shoot in horizon balancing on the Action 2, which is great. You can tilt the camera 45 degrees without the horizon tilting. So this is a side-by-side test. It's a little bit windy today, so I'm pretty sure you can hear that on the audio. That's the way it is. But these are two great cameras which are really popular. And in many ways I think these two cameras are quite similar because neither of them are actually waterproof if you're using the whole system. The Action 2 camera module is waterproof, but the screen and power module isn't. The Sony FDR is supposed to be splash proof, but I wouldn't dunk this in water, then it's gone, destroyed. So yeah, always fun to test cameras side by side. A lot of people are bored of it, but yeah, I don't mind. I think we're going to switch to 1080p on the Action 2 just to see if there are major difference in the image quality. It should be. but you never know. I never tested 1080p on the Action 2. Let's do that and see. And of course on the Sony FDR I'm shooting in 1080p. You can shoot in 4K, but I actually think the 1080p looks quite good on the Sony. So let's switch to 1080p on the Action 2. So we're shooting in 1080p on both cameras now. On the Action 2, I never tested it in 1080p before, so it's going to be fun to see if there are a major difference now. But you never know. The sensor on the Sony FDR is a pretty good sensor, performs really good, but in low light the Action 2 wins hands down. But how is the colors? I'm shooting a vivid color profile on the Sony FDR and normal color profile on the Action 2. The normal color profile on the Action 2 looks really good, and I think the natural color profile on the Sony FDR is kind of flat. You can grade it a little bit, but yeah, it's a popular camera, the Sony FDR, but also the Action 2. Okay guys, let's walk in on a trail just to see, and then you have some shifting lightning. Maybe that can affect the comparison between these two cameras. Still in 1080p on the Action 2 and of course 1080p on the Sony FDR. It's just fun to see if you can see any big difference in details and all of that. We're shooting in wide on both cameras. Let's get close to something so you can see what the colors are. Let's get close here. Can you see a big difference on the details, on the leaves and all of that? So what do you think? Is the Action 2 10 times better, or is it more or less the same? And the audio, listen to the audio. The cameras are facing away from me. This is the audio from the Dji Action 2, testing 1, 2, 3, testing 1, 2, 3. And this is the audio from the Sony FDR X3000, testing 1, 2, 3, testing 1, 2, 3. So yeah guys, what do you think? How was the cameras performing? Exposed to my face, how does my skin tones looks like? And the overall colors and details and all of that. Of course you have the option to shoot in high resolutions on the Action 2, which of course outperforms the Sony FDR in many ways, but still I think it's relevant to compare these two cameras. But like I said, neither of these cameras is actually waterproof, the whole system. Of course the Action 2 is more of an action camera if you only using the camera module, but you don't. You need to use the whole system to get the benefit of recording longer clips, and so more or less the same. So we're getting back to the car now. Let's see how the stabilization is one more time in 1080p. Yeah, so tell me which camera you think are the best. Is there any reason for somebody to upgrade from the X3000 to the Action 2? I don't know. Tell me down in the description what you think. And thank you so much for watching, and remember to subscribe to my channel. That means a lot to me. Getting close to 1,000 subscribers, so let's get there pretty soon. My goal is to be there by the end of the summer. I really think that's possible. Thank you so much, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.